What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. You're of course hanging out with
BW Githinji,
the realest OG.
the realest OG.
Naona mpaka nimeshika introduction yako, and of course myself, VW Haron Mumuli, in the house.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good, bana.
Uh-huh.
It's another good day to shoot episode, bana.
Episode?
It's episode 19.
Episode 19.
Episode 19, bana.
These things you're still doing, eh?
Tunasonga, bana. It's been a while.
It's actually been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. By the way, it's been a while since we actually just met up and recorded something.
Very true.
Yeah, but good to see you again, man.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. Umekuaje lakini?
Nimekuwa fiti. Back and forth. Pressure here and there. But I'm liking it so far. I'm liking life.
That's good. That's good. Nimekuwa fiti pia. Pushing on pia.
Pressure. Naona fuki.
Maybe if you go back kwa hizo introductions zingine, whenever tunaulizana ngeo swali, our answers are usually the same. Pushing on. No, been good.
Nika ile salamu yenye. There's no other response that I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah.
And we need to move, right? But
I've been good. Yeah, and I'm grateful, and I'm glad that we are here yet and again for another episode.
For
episode
another
19.
Interesting episode, eh?
Yeah, and we are in December by the last month of the year 2023.
2023.
Yeah. How's by the way? Anyway, maybe we can just end this tunaweza yaka for another episode, just talking about how the year has been so far. But yeah.
No, actually, episode. We can actually do that. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, inakuwa like a deep dive of how the year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem. So, kuna kitu for us today, or we just dive into that?
We'll do that. We'll do that in another episode. So, let's just dive into the topic of the day,
okay,
which is productivity and time management. Actually, funny thing, I think even this topic for today is sort of like what do they call it? Like nikaka intro ama preamble to now that episode that we're talking about of, taking stock of whatever because in a way, I think even during that episode, someone will be like, you're saying, okay, so I've done this and this the whole year, I'm hoping to do this and this next year. So productivity and time management, this topic for today, I think will in a way
lead into
that conversation
will be like the
exactly. So we'll start with the definitions. Of course, I know people know what productivity means, but I think when ikifika ni definitions kuna kwanga na confusion kidogo, because when you're told to, like right now for you as you're listening, if I tell you to give me the definition of productivity,
even before we go through the definition, without doing a Google search or anything, just type in the comment section what productivity is.
What productivity is in your own words, by the way. Don't look it up anywhere. So by the way, it's interesting. We know what it means, but when it comes to like putting that in words, inakuwa a bit challenging.
Yeah.
So to avoid your confusion kidogo, let me just read what I have here as the definition of productivity.
Not a problem.
And in this case, by the way, it's specifically personal productivity.
Yes. Okay. Important that you also mentioned that, because again, as the definition.
So for personal productivity, it says is how you organize your responsibilities, goals, and routines to efficiently and consistently complete the tasks that matter most. Yes, so that is personal productivity. I know for productivity, like the general term, when you're looking at productivity, I think the definition would be more or less the same, but it's it looks at, I think, the inputs and outputs and how
you will manage them to to maximize on efficiency.
Exactly. Yes. Efficiency by there is very key, I think, when you're giving the definition of productivity there.
We'll go through that definition.
So the definition of personal productivity again is
interesting to hear what Google has to say.
Is how you organize your responsibilities, goals, and routines to efficiently, I think that is a very key word, to efficiently and consistently complete the tasks that matter most. Yes. So that is productivity. For time management, also I'm sure even time management, if I tell you to define time management, you'll just say it's the management of your time and things like that. But still, I would type that without checking it up.
Checking it up.
Yeah, just
where
tuone watu walisomea shule gani hizi hapa bana. But just to read the definition from this source, it says time management is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between different activities, which I think is very straightforward. Just deciding you're breaking your time into portions, and then you're saying this goes here, this activity is here, and things like that. So today that is what you're talking about: productivity and time management.
Very true. And I remember even before we while we were building up to this episode, we were looking at what does productivity mean, and does time management have a role in it? Or what does time management mean, and does productivity have a role in it? As in Nile Mataya, does one lead into the other?
Or whether they are related.
Whether they... Okay, you could say that slightly they are related, but I do not think you need one for the other.
I will explain.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is,
you can be productive without necessarily managing your time properly.
Yes, and you can manage your time really well without necessarily being productive.
Yeah, by the way, it actually makes sense. If you put it like that, yes, you can manage your time. Like this time I'm doing this time I'm doing this, and you, if it's a schedule that you have, you're following that schedule, you're managing your time very well. But at the end of the day, there's really nothing to show for that time management.
Very true. Makes sense.
And the other one is you can not manage your time properly, but still
productivity call.
Funny thing, I don't know if this example will apply. I remember back in high school we had this guy, I can't remember, I think I remember his name but I won't mention it.
Kwesha alafu akataja jina hapo
na nikitaja kama nimetaja bahati mbaya bwana editor, I would just we don't want lawsuits here. We are still very young. The podcast is very young. So anyway, this guy, what he used to do, he's one of those people that used to, I think back then in school, high school, we used to wake up at, I don't know whether it was 5 or 4. So these are the people that used to wake up even earlier than, if let's say guys, the bell ilikuwa 5, these are the guys, yes, who would wake up at 4. So 4, he had actually ironed his, his uniform, everything, brushed his shoes, polished his shoes and everything was ready. So you're waking up, taking a shower, by the time you guys are waking up, the guy has already done a few minutes in class and everything. Those are the guys that a break time, probably they weren't even going for breaks, just a few minutes back. They weren't wasting time basically. As when we were going for funkies, music festivals and things, sports, games and things like that, these are the people that very focused. So the guy was like that, very focused by then. He was ever in class by then. But that's not the funny thing. At the end of the time, when you go and look for his name, and the stream we had,
before Malisa, Hiyo time yote alikuwa na spend class, alikuwa anafanya.
He was reading, of course. He has books. I'm assuming you're reading, because if you have a book here the whole time and you're like this, if you're ever in the library, I'm assuming you're reading. In schools, but back then we actually didn't even have phones in school. So things like that. So when you go to ukienda kumtafuta kwa, the results, what do you tulikuwa naita aje ile
roster performance.
So I think we used to have like 4 or 5 pages. So page 1 is not there, page 2 is still not there, page 3 used to be like kukomush. So I was wondering, and I think at some point guys started making fun of him, like, hey, this guy is, anasoma hivi vyote, but he's really not. So I don't know, I think that is a good example. I don't know, a good example of someone who actually used to manage his time very well, but productivity, yes, the productivity,
productivity. Okay, if the
I don't know if that is a good example.
It is a good example.
Yeah.
If the objective was for him to perform, then Apple
and of course time. That is the objective in you. Why are you studying? Like, you're studying to just
no, hapana, inaweza kuwa. I'm trying to think of a scenario, because I think that this will also lead the conversation to what productivity is for a person or for an individual. I think also productivity, both of them actually, productivity and management, time management, are very subjective.
Yes.
So I don't want to play devil's advocate, but let's imagine that I'm that guy. I'm not saying I was. Don't.
If anyone, watu walikuwa wanamjua guys who schooled with him, please just.
I'm imagining probably for him, it wasn't about performance. It was about discipline. That alikuwa tu anataka that okay, as long as it's this time, let me try and ensure that every morning, if that was the objective for him, then probably I may outperform. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I understand the point of discipline, but even discipline, there has to be an end goal. Like, okay, sawa, you're disciplined. Why?
Labda that's the end goal.
To just be disciplined, to just follow rules.
I'm trying to build discipline in me. That for me, probably I'm not looking for grades as far as now school is concerned. I'm assuming boarding high school, right?
Yeah.
That me nimejiambia, okay, I know shule is a sham. That's not what I'm saying. But probably at that point or that stage of my life, I'm saying shule ni scam. I don't need it. But there are some good things I can teach myself that will probably put me forward in future, right? Sasa tuseme like now, number 1, time management. So now I try to ensure that, right?
So time management.
Then number 2, discipline. I'm always there. Then number 3, just reading. Kifika kwa performance, I do not need that.
Okay, I hear you by the way. So his goal here is time management, discipline, and maybe just reading. But I'm thinking, I am looking at these things, time management, discipline, I'm looking at them as stepping stones, as let me say qualities, things that are helping you to achieve something. Because why are you managing your time at the end? Okay, so why?
That's what I'm trying to achieve.
Time management, to just manage time.
Yes.
And then after you manage time.
Because imagine, kama if I was a fresher and I was someone who's waking up at 7 a.m. Then I just decide, okay, I need to improve I need to build this muscle. I like to use that term.
Yeah, okay.
I need to build this muscle.
Yeah.
I need now to be very conscious of how I spent my time, because 7 a.m. doesn't work. That will lead me to be a lazy person in future. So let me just try and have this level of discipline that as long as it's time to do A, I will be doing A. It doesn't matter to what level, but if it's break time, I will be on break. If it's right.
I am really, really struggling.
Okay, that is to say now, leading to the conversation, if you look at now productivity, even as we're talking about it, it could be very subjective.
Yes.
actually, I'd like to pitch it as a very subjective endeavor. That okay, now in the individual level, if I want to be something, or if I want to, as we've seen the definition of productivity, if I want to be highly productive, as long as I have my goals A, B, C, then whatever I do towards the goal ABC might be determined as the measure of my productivity. I don't know if that makes sense. That from your perspective, unaweza kaa useme, manze, what is Harun doing every morning? But for me, I know my goal is that I'm trying to be a time-conscious individual. But from your perspective, you're like, this guy should be looking at how his performance is, right? So I'd like to think of it this way, that of course, if it were grades, of course I'd be on page 5, because if you're measuring my performance based on now grades and if you're measuring my, let me say, productivity based on now how you're able to achieve grades, I'll of course be on page 5.
Yes.
But if it's now, let's say now the areas I've mentioned, that time management, I'd like to think now I'd be on page 1, because of course, if you check everyone in school who wakes up earliest, this guy,
so
the guy
I
who's
agree.
holding up 2 thumbs.
I agree.
If you check
I
who has
agree.
discipline,
I agree.
2 thumbs.
By the way,
right?
and I think that's the reason why I think some schools had that award for the most disciplined.
Yes.
I think there were probably even some schools had that for, like, the people who kept time the best and things like that. But yes, those are there. But the main thing in school.
Why do you want your main to be my main?
Okay, because the reason why we are here, even for example, let's say this guy, when he's going home to his parents, and then he's showing his parents that result, sleep. Then the parents are looking for him, and then they find him in page 5. I don't think the parents will really care. Okay, so you've been waking up at 4, okay, an hour earlier than the rest. Okay, you've been managing your time well, most disciplined. But okay, so what? I'm trying to, sir, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. You have 2 kids. They're in different schools, probably even the same school. So one, when it comes to time management and discipline, very poor. But they are leading, they're number 1 in the entire school. The other kid, very disciplined, keeps time and everything, but he's on page 5. So how would you address both situations, you as the parent now?
Outsources or service. Okay, but all things serious.
By the way, outsourcing. Funny you said outsourcing, because it's
part of part of that. You recognize that what I think I would do to either of the child is okay. First of all, it's noticing their strengths. That okay, child A, of course. When it comes to amassing knowledge, no challenge there. But on all the other areas that might be as important as amassing knowledge, there might be some strengthening that's required there. So I'd try and help them build that area or that skill. So, because for child A, good at books, good at just getting to know what they need to know, but analala vile anataka, anaamka vile anataka, and we all know that, of course, if you're just good at books and hizi zingine you're not good at, you might make it so far. There's some things you will still require, right? So that's child A. Try and help build the other skills that are of course important. Then for child B now, they have the other skills that they already need, but now focus slightly more, because it's not like we're trying to get them to lose any of the already skills of the skills they already have. So now just try and focus slightly more on how now they will be able to build up in the knowledge so that ikifika kupanda vitabu atakuwa sawa. That's what I'd try to do.
But I'm trying to think. For example, that kid, that colleague, if if we asked him, okay, time management discipline, you're okay. Are you okay with being on page 5? I don't know what he would say. By then, if I asked him that and he said, yeah, I'm okay. Like I have already achieved my goal. I am, when it comes to time management, like
then more power.
Yes.
Because even for me, I would. I'm not.
And that's
saying
why
this is
I think
what,
that's why we're saying it's subjective. If for
Very
him
true.
he feels that he has achieved, well and good. Because like you're saying, maybe at the back of his mind, he's thinking, where I want to be in life, I'm at the direction I want to take in life. These are the traits that will help me 4 or 5 years from now. Being disciplined, managing my time well, and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as long as on my metrics, I'm on page 1, I don't care about all the page 5s that you show me, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so we were to that leads into why do we think productivity and time management is important. And I like that we've used the example of someone who's in school. But first tell me, I'm trying to also just think about why productivity is.
I think, let me start with time management. I think time management is important because
existential.
Okay, I'm saying
okay.
I think it's because it's important because it will help you if you manage your time properly. It might help you. It will not necessarily help you. It might help you be able to maybe get more results, get more done. So, for example, if you're able to manage your time properly, then you can achieve more at work. In a family setting and things like that. Yes, time management. For productivity, I think, yes, as in we all want to have those results. We all want to see that, okay, we've put this much effort in, and at the end of the day, there are results that we are seeing. If you look at it from that input and then efficiency and then output. So, of course, I want to know that, yes, I have consumed this much knowledge, but how is it helping me at the end of the day? So yeah, I think it's important in that sense, because it helps you achieve your whatever it is that you want to achieve. Because if you look at productivity, and that, I think kuna your word product, like the product, there's
some output.
Yes, there's some output. So the quality of output, if quantity is important to you, then the quantity, but and the efficiency of the whole process. So I think for me, I would say they're important because they would help you achieve more and attain the goals that you've set for yourself. Yeah.
Okay. I 100% agree with you.
But
someone starts, both of us. I'm sorry. No, it's because whatever you're saying makes a lot of sense and it's true. For time management, I like to also think of time as a limited resource. That either way, Harold Mumuli 2012 had a lot more resources as far as time is concerned in comparison to the Harold Mumuli 2023, right? Does that make sense? I'm sorry.
I am trying to please explain.
If you look at time as I'm saying time is a resource, right?
Yes.
That 10 years ago you had much more resource, time being the subject here. Being the object, you had you had a lot more resources as far as time is concerned in comparison to the time resource you have today, right?
As in right now.
I'm just trying to say that you're all going to die.
Right now
right?
You're closer to dying than you are in 2012.
In 2012,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
So as in, I do not think there is anyone who would want to be at their deathbed or taking their final breath and they're like, wow, I wasted. I wish I had. We all see those movies and we all see those scenes where the person with the dying breath is like, I wish I did A, B, C. So with that, it just automatically tells you that this is a resource that you shouldn't be wasting, right?
Yes.
That you need to figure out, even if you do not have objectives, even if you haven't gotten to a point where the environment hasn't allowed you, let me say that, hasn't allowed you to have that foresight of what you need to be doing with your time, you still don't need to be wasting it, right?
Yes.
So that's for time management, that's it for me. That kwa sababu Haron probably or 2057 atakuwa anaangalia aseme wow 2023 I should have done this.
But I like the way you've put it. So I'm looking at it as in, for example, when you're born, you have, let's assume you have like 100 years to live. Let's assume 100. So when you are 25, umebakisha 75. When you're 50, umebakisha. So
na umesema hiyo time yote bado hujisikii kumanage time. Are you sure? Umeelewa? Because either way
it's a limited resource, so it's wiser if you're able to manage that.
If you're able to manage it. Then for productivity, I'm very skeptical of tying it to time. If you look at how soon do you want to get to wherever you want to be, as in the Givenchy you're envisioning, not even how soon, what amount of effort do you want to put in to get to the Givenchy, for me to get to the Haron I'm envisioning. If I am productive, then what I'm thinking is it will be the least amount of effort.
Which means I think that the term there is efficiency. How efficient is,
how efficient are whatever choices I'm making, decisions I'm making, activities I'm engaging in towards delivering me to the person I need to be, right? So that's, for me, that's why they're important. I think.
By the way, it makes a lot of sense. I've liked how you've explained this on time management in terms of it's a limited resource. So if it's limited, then you need to be very conscious how you're managing it. So you have to manage it. And then the other one, productivity, efficiency, towards how efficient are these things that you're doing towards getting to that. And again, if you think about it, we are all saying that these are resources. You might not be you might not see the need for you to be productive or the need for you to manage your time well if you do not have like goals, if you do not have objectives, or you don't have a vision of by the way, this is where I am and I need to be, right? So without that, I can decide to just sit here and just do nothing. I can decide that, okay, today I feel like, right? So but I feel like on this topic of productivity, you're like an expert, but I'm very like, honestly, you're saying things here and I'm like taking notes at the back of my mind, like, what? Okay, sawa. Well, hi, baby. I feel like I'm part of the audience, like now, okay, by the way, like I should be.
But yes, I think with that, after you've defined, you have said, okay, I need to be there. Then now, see, we've decided we need to grow. These are the things, right? Tuende sasa. So I think we should move to the next.
By the way, that is a very good point, and that's why you are saying, like, you have to define what the end result is for you.
For you, exactly.
Yes. And then how you get there.
So you see, for me, if I'm that kid again in high school who's on page 5. I'm like, what are these guys telling me? I mean,
By the way, now that you've explained that, even going back to that high school example, that kid, it's now clear.
Yeah, the guy is performing. I don't know why you.
Very true.
Ati uko page 5. Like, what do you mean? Don't you know I wake up at 4 a.m.? Look at this guy, right?
Yeah. That makes sense. So I think maybe another thing we can look at are factors that may affect your productivity. So what do you think are some of the things that may affect your productivity?
That may affect my productivity.
Yeah.
Immediately that comes to mind, of course, is the environment. Immediately. Environment, meaning depending on the setting that is around me. And when I say environment, I mean a vast number of things, as in the government, part of the environment, probably my siblings, part of the environment, who I decide to relate with, part of the environment. So all that will determine, will of course affect your environment, will affect your productivity, because once I decide that this is my result, now depending on how well that sits on the environment, I will either maneuver slowly or struggle to get to that objective, or I will have an easy time. So what immediately comes to mind is sometimes whenever, okay, let's take even the two examples that I've given within the environment. And again, I mentioned that the environment is very vast. Yes. It could be anything, right? Yeah. At amount of oxygen in the air also represents environment, right? Yeah. But if we take government and family, let's say that for me, my goal or my objective is to have something that is probably taboo and according to this government is illegal.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, just because of that, just because of my environment, and
are you sure you don't want me to take notes, baby? We don't feel like
no.
Well, baby, I feel like I feel niko vitu nasikia hapa, feel niko class na niko naandika
so acha mtasahau baby.
Sasa you're talking about
that whatever objective I've chosen
may
is
be
illegal and is taboo to my family, right? So just because that's the objective I've chosen, or that's the result I want for me to be fulfilled as a person or as an individual, automatically my productivity is affected, because probably the advantage I would have, advantage being family support, advantage being probably government has incentivized such activities for me.
Yeah.
All that is gone, because now no one wants to associate with that specific goal. Productivity, of course, ime dump. That's okay. That's what's coming to mind automatically. The inverse now being that probably it's something that is well celebrated. By the time I'm asked, if you're my brother, I'm asking for support. You're like,
You won't. I won't even wait for you to ask. I will support you.
Utakuwa unaniuliza, by the way, where are we on? And probably government, kuna sijui all the things we hear, sijui there's subsidies, sijui whatever they're doing.
Tax cuts, tax holidays, right? And things like that. Yeah.
So immediately that's what comes to mind. Sijui.
By the way, environment imeingia na tu vizuri kabisa. Like it's a very clear example that you've given.
And I know I've done probably surface level as far as the
no, but it really it as in that the example umepeana, it just explains it very clearly. Okay. So someone can even use that to replicate it in a different kind of environment. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So environment. By the way, I think there's nothing I can even add.
My God.
Because baby. it's been a while since we like we,
Oh yeah,
we talked since we even met.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, hey, you the same guy by the way. Very low and it's pretty amanini. I'm a fax man. Like, but anyway,
Okay.
So what is another, for example, another factor that you may think that may affect your productivity?
That may affect.
Yes.
Okay, that may affect. Of course, other than the environment, I'd say experience as well, because the reason I'm saying experience, when we look at productivity and we're talking about efficiency, for someone who has been there, done that before, they might be able to figure out ways to just deliver whatever they need to get to.
Efficiency is high.
Work improved. And I'm not saying that if you're new in it, you lack the mental capabilities to also just be able to maneuver. I'm just saying that someone who's done it before might have a better chance. They have an advantage, essentially. So I think experience also will...
Maybe it makes sense, because if you look at it, let's say even the first time that someone got a job, for example, it's a new, it's okay, yes, you may have studied IT at school, but it's a new company, so you don't know their systems, you don't know like how everything works for them. So it will take time for you to like even deliver some reports, do some things,
because you still need to learn whatever the cogs, whatever is happening inside for you to even be able to to bring results or deliver results.
As opposed to someone who is experienced, has been there for like 3-4 years already, so they know like, okay, so even if they get this issue, they know who to call to be able to have it sorted immediately. By their experience as well, it would really affect the productivity of someone at the end of the day. I think that example, someone would actually and as I apply mostly kwa workplaces, hata hiyo example nimepeana, it's for work, but I'm sure even other places you'll find, even in business, by the way.
Even in business, and again, even in your personal context, as in even when you're operating, hata tu tukiangalia basic operations, hata tu za nyumba, that you'd be better off if you've done it before than facing something for the first time.
I don't know if this example makes sense, but something as simple as driving a car. I've nimekuwa nikidrive for the past few years, so I'm good at it. Niko sawa, najua, I know all the routes and chochoros. Someone who started driving the other day, because they don't have that nini, or I don't know if example Peter makes sense.
No, the first one also makes sense.
Or so when you're used to your, for example, your car, you know where everything is, and so when you maybe get someone's car, like to just for a day,
cut out kwanza.
Yes, cut out. So so even if it would have taken you like maybe supposed to take you like 2 hours to get somewhere, it inaweza to take like a bit longer,
just by the fact that you are not very conversant with that.
Yes,
very true, and it makes sense.
I am curious, is something like let's say something like wellness, can it affect productivity?
100%. Wellness, but I think with wellness, what we're meaning is I
am looking at because again we're trying to focus on personal productivity. I'm looking at wellness of let's say even like your personal wellness.
So you're meaning mental, physical, emotional state of I think it really, because again, you remember, for you to, I agree with you. It would really determine and has a role to play as far as productivity is concerned, because you see, today probably I suffer from a bacterial infection, and whatever I needed to deliver on is something physical. Probably I'm supposed to be ni mitungi nafaa nibebe from point A to point B zenye zimejaa maji.
Or we needed to shoot the podcast and then
exactly. We needed to shoot the podcast and I have a terrible cold that you can't even hawezi sikia kile naongea. Niko tu hapa nashindia right, as in
of course.
as in unaona, as if now the objective was to deliver on X episodes of podcast. Imekuwa hampered because now my physical state is affected. My health is affected, right? Same to now mental health and emotional state of being and all that, because if you are not at I want to say optimal, but I know probably please don't come at me because
come at him, bana.
Because we are really generalizing things here. If you're not at an optimal state of being, of course your productivity will fluctuate. Kama mental yako haiko sawa, even if you know that your objective is X ama Y ama Z, because your mental state you might not be able to make the correct decisions to deliver to X, Y, Z. Physical, tusha mention. Emotional, again, we know that emotions play a role in whatever decisions you need to make and all that. So, for me, I think actually, segue kidogo, we also need to just cover a bit about emotions and the role they play. Did we cover it at some point?
I think on the episode where we talked about self-awareness and mindfulness. That episode, by the way, we'll just leave a link here.
Leave a link there, yeah. Very true. But we also might need to tackle also emotion. There's something versus logic we did, right?
Emotion. Oh, yes. Oh, there's emotion versus logic. Oh, it's emotion versus logic. I'm sorry, by the link is here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And we know, right, that even though hata tutasemati we need to be logical beings for us to make the correct decisions, if your emotions are not right, hata uwe nani, hata uwe spark mwenyewe, sometimes you're affected because emotion has a role to play.
Kama for example tumekuja ni day ya kushoot podcast, kila kitu iko hapo ready, and then jamaa anasema hapa ati hata sijisikii, sina nasikia nika
najisikia inakuwa nasikia sijui aje. Nasikia tu
hivi leo sitopostpone kitu. But I think it makes a lot of sense. Your wellness at the end of the day, productive by the end, and I think ziko related somehow, because if you're not well physically, mentally, emotionally, and productivity will go down. So I think that one, by the way, they are like directly, the link is quite direct.
Very true. That because we are intelligent beings, if you have an objective, for you to even be able to deliver it, as in when productive as you're getting to that objective, lazima your state iwe at an optimal. I'm not saying that people are not surviving with some of imbalances, but it would be better if it's at a balance for you to
Okay, and I think another factor that is coming to mind that may affect productivity is resources. So and I think the examples that I have, the examples that are coming to mind when it comes to how resources may affect productivity, iko ni story in a job. So it's because I'm thinking, okay, so you want me to do this job, you want me to perform this task, I need, for example, a PC, a laptop, I need you want me to make sales, I need
I need a vehicle.
I need airtime to call, clients.
You want me to generate reports, I need Excel on my laptop.
Yes, by the...
You want me to be the CEO of the organization, I need newspapers daily, right?
I need also a 4x4 and a corner office somewhere.
na per DM lazima
per DMs bana, lazima pia. So
tumongelea.
okay. I need you to pay me well by the
tunaendelea.
I need benefits and things like that. But I think that is more of, when you come to the work environment,
corporate,
corporate. So I'm trying to think how resources or lack of resources might affect personal productivity.
Personal productivity, probably. Okay, resources. I'm thinking about, let's say, even for me, I like to think about probably these guys who are doing sports, that for them, for you to be able, your physique and whatever your muscle tone and all that, and coaching can only get you to a certain level. It gets to a point where you will need access to some information like internet. Now, I remember the story of Yego.
Hey, Julius Yego.
Yes, Julius Yego. A part of his story was that for him to even get to be as good as he was, he needed to go to the internet to access some training or some information about javelin and what he would need to be as good as he got to be. So I'm trying to imagine now connectivity to the internet is a resource.
Yes.
Would we have Julius Yego as? Of course.
Probably not.
Okay.
Maybe yes.
Maybe yes.
But I think maybe having that resource at his disposal.
It was an instrument that really catapulted him to at least to a higher level and
faster. So the effort was, he didn't have to go through all the struggles of Sujui coming to Nairobi looking for whatever, things like that. So he could just do those trainings, learn from those videos at home and just... by the way, I think it makes sense.
Access to resources, So now, if you think about again, now someone, I don't want to, but now if you think about now someone who probably, for them to even be as good as they need to be, they might need some information, access to such information, and it's locked. There's a story about. I forget the specifics of the details, but it was a kid, probably 16 years old or something, who got to a breakthrough in was it cancer or something? But the summary was they were able to figure out something that really helped the medical world, and the only way they were able to help to achieve that was that there's a library in some state, probably in the US, that decided to release some of their published information to kids, for them to just access the information, right? So I'm trying to think, imagine kama your library haingefungua hiyo mambo, do you think that breakthrough? Because if probably I'm a researcher, whatever information I have is what will get me to the next step, right? If I don't have access to that information, I might as well build that information. And by the time I'm building it, we've already, right? So I also like to think about that as far as now resources is concerned.
By the way, makes sense.
But I'm giving a lot of internet.
But you see, I think the key in it there is access to information, and if you have the information, by the information is a very huge resource on its own, by the if you use it correctly, if you take advantage of it, then it can help you. It can help you get to the output that you want, the goals, the objectives, and whatever. So I'm trying to think, are there any other factors that we think that may affect
there's also one we were talking about, technology.
Oh yes,
most definitely. I know technology is a factor. And okay, here's what I think about technology. Unfortunately or fortunately, it is very difficult to have any conversation right now without technology in it. So now hii hapa tunapeana marks. So even if you have if you're in school and you have a question, technology is part of okay. Fortunately or unfortunately, because with whatever technology is doing right now, there's a lot of advancements, or we are able to do a lot more than we were able to do earlier, just because of what doors technology has opened, right? That even if we look at all the objectives that we've mentioned, the examples that we've shared, right, for all of every single one of them, just by injecting technology in each of the scenarios, each of those individuals might have been able to effectively, efficiently get to their goals, to their targets, a lot, as in easier, more seamless. Let me use that term, right? And I think it's a blessing, slightly a curse as well, because again now we are looking at people losing jobs and all that. But as far as productivity is concerned, technology will of course add to your productivity. I am struggling to think of a scenario where technology would be detrimental.
I think I have.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I don't know. Just tell me if this example makes sense. So largely, I would also agree that technology has helped when it comes to productivity and even time management. But I'm trying to think one instance where it may be detrimental. Let's say social media. So, for example, you know, spending too much time on social media. Instead of, for example, doing something that
whatever you needed to do for you to get to the objectives that you wanted to get to. That makes sense. That makes a
so so if you actually are not careful, and it's very addictive, you can just find yourself in that.
And that I've shared stories.
Like where no, there is an episode by there. I'll actually leave the link here. I don't know which episode it was, but he actually confessed that
no, but it's true that
TikTok is very addictive for him. He has, he's struggling with that problem. So if we have, professionals there that may help.
Well, okay. I just didn't know.
But I think that is one way that maybe we can think of. I don't know if you guys maybe have any other scenarios where you think technology may be detrimental to productivity and time management. Then you can just leave a comment down below. So before we conclude this episode, I would like for us to share with the audience ways in which they can improve their productivity and even better manage their time.
Improve on productivity and better manage time. Okay. I have a bit to say about improvement on productivity. I think what we've mentioned, just looking at the factors that we've mentioned, might also just help you decide on what you need to do to improve your productivity. For me, when it gets to improving my productivity, what has always helped is that assessment of what could I have done better, or not just what could I have done better, this is the objective, what do I need to think about for me to get there, right? So that critical assessment of that entire journey,
it's like a plan, eh?
Like a plan, exactly. That, yes, let me use the term plan. Umepunguza matamshi yangu mpaka. So actually it's a plan, as well as e-assessment, yeah, whatever you've already done before. What do you call that?
I don't know. Probably evaluation. I don't know.
Evaluation. Planning and evaluation. So with planning, you are able to just see all the blocks that you need to stack together for you to get to your objective. And chances, when you're aware of your blocks, chances are that you will be able to manage them better than just someone who's diving in head first, right?
Yeah. But I think there's I think another way that another technique that maybe may help people out there. And like you mentioned if you look at the factors that we mentioned that affect productivity, if you look at them, then from there you will actually get pointers, ways you can improve productivity. So if it's, for example, experience, it affects productivity.
Very true.
Then you probably
need to build up
on your experience. If it's resources, then you might need to
figure out how you will access the right resources that will help you get to your objectives. If it's the environment, then you need to figure out how you will maneuver that environment, because I think as well, for some of the objectives that we might have, there might not be objectives that will sit well with people. But if it's something that you really believe in, or as in it's something that you really want to achieve, it's just about now figuring out, okay, this is my environment and this is what I have to go against. So what do I need to do to take the easiest path to get to my get to my objective? And I think that's now productivity.
And I think on the tip that you gave on planning and evaluation, like you're saying, like if you know this is where I want to go, these are the steps that I need to take, and even as you're taking your steps, you're still looking, okay, I've already taken 10 steps out of the 100 that I need to take. How am I faring? As far as these 10 steps are concerned, are there any changes that I need to make so that the next 10 steps I take them effortlessly, so that as you're going, you're still sort of like improving, making the process more seamless as you're going. I think there's a book I read a while back called Eat That Frog. Yes. There's a idea that I got from there, and I think it might help. So that book basically says that you see, like, why most people, it's trying to explain why most people procrastinate. So if you have like 10 tasks, and then there's this one major task that is the most important. So the author was just saying you need to start first thing in the morning when you have high energy, morale is high. Just start with that one task that even if it's the only thing that you do all day, you shall have achieved, like, let's say 90% of your results, because it's a very key task. So it's saying you need to start with that one, and hence the metaphor. Eat that frog. As in,
I get it.
Yeah,
eat that frog.
Yeah,
or that most important task is the frog that you need to
eat.
And
he's saying if eating a frog is the first thing that you do in the morning, then you will spend the rest of your day with confidence, knowing that
you've already eaten the frog.
Yes, the worst has already passed.
What needs to happen?
So yes, this is walk over.
Okay, makes
so
sense.
The frog is that one task that is of very high value, but most likely it's difficult, and
that you might actually be procrastinating just because of the difficulty level or the strain that you will have just executing that task.
Exactly. So just start with it, get it out of the way, and then you're done. So I found that by there to be very interesting. So and again, I think Pia, it comes back to the planning point that you're saying, that if you know that these are the tasks that I have, like 10 tasks, just categorize them, for example, in terms of priority. So there's number 1 to 2, those are the key tasks. Those are the ones that the frogs that I need to deal with first, and then 3 to 10 maybe. Even if I don't do them today,
I'm a medium.
I can do them tomorrow, and no one will make noise about that. So
and I think that also speaks slightly to time management. I know we've really looked at productivity.
Baby.
We've really dived deep into productivity. Tumesahau time management.
But yes, by then, and I'm glad you've actually like umeturudisha to time management kidogo because look at me sao. But yes, that looks to time management in a way, because once you're able to prioritize those tasks that you have, then you're able to know, okay, maybe I need to give this much more time, I need to give this a bit
less time.
Yes. And by the funny thing, when it comes to time management, I don't know, some people use this. I think it's a technique called the Pomodoro technique. You guys can just check it out. We'll probably just leave that here. But it's this thing where you, for example, if you have a task that you know might take you up to like 4 or 5 hours, so what you do is you just divide your sessions in 25 minutes each. So you work for like 25 minutes straight, just focus, and then you take a 5-minute break, come back, another 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, another 25 minutes. So you just do it like 4 times. And then after that, you take like now a longer break for 15 or 30 minutes. So you guys can actually try that. I think it's something that might also help. Because I think it also touches a bit on what you said earlier on wellness. Because if you break your time into small chunks, then you're able to like take a break every 25 minutes.
There's a reduced chance of fatigue.
Yes. So you maybe stand up,
you're
stretch.
less strenuous, as in you're less likely to be burnt out. Because I'm imagining a 5-hour task. By the time unatoka hapo, you're even probably
exactly. But if you're taking these breaks in between, you're stretching your legs, your mind is refreshing kidogo. So it's sort of like it might boost your productivity at the end of the day. I don't know if there are any other ways that someone can
improve on their productivity. I think we've gotten quite a bit on productivity. What about time management? Improve on time management.
Okay, I think that aspect of maybe dividing up your tasks that can actually help. I'm trying to think of
I think just as well might be very basic, but also just using a timer more or less will also, of course, just help with your time management. I know for me, I am also someone who just, when I dive into something, I'm that guy who will spend 5 or 6 hours, especially if it's something that is it's challenging or mentally toiling. I will try to figure it out, and nitasema to hell with time, to hell with, right? So as in just being keen on how much time you've taken on each of your activity. And when I say being keen hapo namaanisha even if it means that you have an alarm, or now that you're checking yourself with how much time you have consumed or utilized, that also really helps with management.
But it's funny you say that, because that Pomodoro technique it usually it utilizes that. So after 25 minutes there's a timer. It goes off, and then you're like, okay, I need to take a break. After the break you come back, set the timer again, 25 minutes. And again, thanks for mentioning about the timer, because I saw that TikTok actually have that option where you can like time your watch.
Manze umeshout kwa hii episode. Why are you shouting?
So if for example, if you know that when you log into TikTok you can spend like you're saying 5 hours in Aisha, then I think there's that option where you can like, okay, so after 30 minutes or after 15 minutes
It
So,
logs you out and you can't open the app.
I'm sure you know about it. And even if you don't know, you just don't want to put that timer on.
I don't want to. To be honest, I don't want to put the timer on.
That is one of the ways you can manage your time.
Umeshachoma 5 hours huku ukifocus. So sahi unataka tu kurelax, you don't care about the world. Alafu tena unajiwekea timer
na ni time ya kurelax. Ile bell ulikuwa unasikia imering ati break time imeisha.
Kwanza hata wacha hiyo. You remember, I don't know if your high schools on Saturdays had the once it gets to like 12:30 or 1 p.m. It's free for all mpaka sapa. So hiyo kengele ya sapa used to hate it because you're like manze hivyo ndio ametulia siku. So okay, that's the mentality I had, but I agree that that level of management would really help. Then your awareness, okay, I've already mentioned on the awareness that just knowing that this task is a time-consuming task. So if I'm assigning it, I know I will not be able to complete it in an hour. I might need 3 hours. So an hour today, an hour tomorrow, an hour, blah, blah, blah. Or just as you've mentioned, that the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro technique, yeah. Just employment of that technique would also help.
Yeah. So I think we've covered pretty much most of what we wanted to cover. But we still invite you guys to just share maybe techniques that have helped you in improving your productivity
and time management. And probably even not just techniques, also just share on your experience around productivity and time management.
Yeah.
So far we've been doing the assignments we are assigning each other, but the guys at the comments are just
guys at the comments.
You're sending people with assignments.
Unapatia to homework.
Hapa unasikia the dog ate my homework.
Watu wataki kufanya. So kaka homework tafadhali watu tufanyeni tu aka.
Tufanyeni aka assignment, but otherwise guys, I think that's it from us.
Yeah.
If you're new here, of course, please consider subscribing. It's a very interesting ride. We have a library of information that we believe will be helpful to you, and not just to you, to the people around you. And we are still building that library. Yeah. So just hang around, like, share, and subscribe to our channel as we're making.
For sure.
Cindy?
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's been it.
Till next time.
This is it.